So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles are making it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom be busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I'm back gon' be 10-5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in his dress. She a bombshell. Revenge is served cold. I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. There was design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Now turn the headphones up just a little bit. Yo.
So up we out with dog. 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 So up we out with dog.
When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east. Turn to the east. Turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east. Turn to the east. Turn to the east. When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east. Turn to the east. Turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east. Turn to the east. Turn to the east.
I used to wake up every morning, boy, and all I seen was mess. Plus the shit that I was dealing with, all I seen was stress. Now I really know the truth. And I understand we're hurting niggas. Beast of the fields, they eat us up and they hurting. U.P.K is what I'm repping. Zion means a weapon. Some of you niggas playing, but me, I'm really stepping. The mission that I'm on is waking up all our people. Show them we are the greatest. Nothing about a sequel. Them heathens, they gon' learn. Them heathens, they gon' burn. Esau, it's about to fall. Then Jacob, it's all turned. They been fucking with the chosen, so they gotta pay. Revelation 13 and 10. Tell me, what does it say?
When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east.
The blood that's in my veins descends straight from the greatest. All of my toolies go, but that 40 know it's my favorite. And we losing all our babies to this crazy shit we represent. The money in the world, nigga, this crazy shit ain't making sense. We the children of the light, and we fighting all the darkness. The way I'm stacking ammo, my bitch is thinking I'm harmless. Them devils get the smile and got you thinking that he harmless. Remember Oklahoma? That is where them cracker bombs. The pain will make you wake up. You know they really hate it. They turn the truth into a lie. That's the shit they gotta pay for. The mission that I'm on is waking up all our people. Show them we are the greatest. Nothing about a sequel. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. When I say my prayers, I gotta turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east. Before you go to war, yo, you better turn to the east, turn to the east, turn to the east.
Got me some drink. Got me some drink.
Hey, Shalom, brother. You too long?
What? Man, you better get up. Man, I'm trying to get in there, man. You won't let me in there.
You came to the right place, brother. Hey, come on.
Man, listen, I just want to drink my drink, man.
Shoot, what we got here?
Man, I'm trying to get in there and do some music, man.
Music? You do some music?
Me and my Tangeray.
The Tangeray? What you got?
Oh, okay, look here.
Oh, nah, man.
I do music in there, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got something better than that Tangeray. What's your name, bro?
Oh, yeah.
I got something better than
You
that
ain't got nothing better than this.
Check me out.
What?
You ever heard of Israelites?
Yeah.
It's a King James Version of the Bible right here. You ever heard about that? You know you're an Israelite? No. I got something better than that Tangeray, brother, and that music. Check this out right here.
What's up,
You'll
bro?
find this up right here in chapter Deuteronomy, man. Check that out. Find this up right here in this Bible, man. You know you're a royalty, man, according to this Bible. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of YAHANNA? People call him Jesus Christ. Yeah. He's a black man, just like you, man. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You are somebody, man. That Tangeray's all good, but this is much better. Man.
I'm glad. I mean, I'm tired of the lie, man. You telling me?
Tired of the lies. We all tired of lies, brother. You know what I'm saying? You can start right here. I'm gonna let you hold this down, man. Give me some pound, man. You know what I'm saying? You tired of the lies. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Man, what you got? He got. I'm gonna get with him. What you got? I got you a little something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you hold this down, brother. We got plenty more. You came to the right place, man. I.S.U.P.K, the commander in YAHANNA, man. You always come here if you need something, brother. We're gonna get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, brother. Hold down. Do your music, brother. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, brother Christ, man.
Shalom, brother. Shalom. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, brothers.
All my soldiers on the streets, that really get it. All the pain that you seen, I can feel it. I'm your brother, you my brother, we connected. Have mercy on us, Lord. Please protect us.
I've been lied to my whole life. Now I found truth. It's alright. I've been lied to my whole life. Now I found truth. It's alright. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I've been lied to my whole life. Now I found truth. It's alright. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, all I know is hustle, 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 hustle. Hard. All I know is hustle, hustle. Ooh, Lord. All I know is hustle, 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 hustle. Hard. All I know is hustle, hustle. Ooh, Lord, yeah. Ooh, Lord, yeah. Ooh, Lord, yeah. 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 Been lied to my whole life and I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of this shit. Been lied to my whole life and I'm sick and tired of this shit. Somebody sick and tired of this shit. Hey, since day one they lied to us and we wasn't shit but slaves. But I found out what I found out, it was right there in my face. The preacher man, he lied. My mama, daddy didn't know, so I'm boxed in by lies. How the fuck I'm ever gonna grow? Hey, when the night falls and the lights out, you be reaching for some help. But when the real shit is bullshit, you be reaching for what's left. None of the lies gon' make it, you can read it for yourself. Here's the truth, you can't fake it, you need to find it for yourself. And nah, and nah, and nah. Oh, 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 I've been lied to my whole life. Now I found truth, it's alright. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I've been lied to my whole life. Now I found truth, it's alright. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Hustle, 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 hard. All I know is hustle, hustle. Ooh, Lord, all I know is hustle, 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 hard. All I know is hustle, hustle. Ooh, Lord, yeah. Ooh, Lord, yeah. Ooh, Lord, yeah. 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 Been lied to my whole life and I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of this shit. Been lied to my whole life and I'm sick and tired of this shit. Somebody sick and tired of this shit.
Check. Put a 1 in the chat, Baba Kushaw, if you can hear my voice. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear my voice. Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah, my brothers. Yahweh Shemar Lathah Hashem Yahweh Shah, to all my sisters. I'm Priest and Officer Bon Kayal, coming out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And as I said before, this is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. And what we do in the I.S.U.P.K is teach the truth of the Bible to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So if you're a so-called Negro, a Latino, or a First Nation people, you would be considered God's chosen according to what the Bible says. You are the living, walking, breathing descendants of the ancient Israelites. It's you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You and you alone, all right? And that's the importance of getting into these classes. That's the importance of just this school, the establishment of this school, is to reestablish who we are in the earth, in the world, man. Because our name, has been intentionally, hidden from us. Our identity has been intentionally withheld from us. We've been called everything. We identify with being Africans, and they call us Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and all this crazy nonsense, man. But except for Israelite, you won't be called Yasharallah in out of the mouths of men, out of the mouths of the other nations. The Bible talks about the nations being confederate against the nation of Israel. With the water that everybody's in the chat. The water for being in this class with me today. Here in our region, we're dealing with some inclement weather due to a tropical storm. So for those of you that are able to tune in, I appreciate you. Those of you that weren't able to get to the classroom, shelter in place. We got to be smart about the decisions that we make. But I'm grateful that you're in the class with me today. And today, oddly enough, I wanted to hearken upon something that has been on my mind for a long time. I'll say this has been on my mind since I was a youth, since I was a teenager, and the primary thing that has been a focal point for me is, it's about manhood, all right? And what I mean by that is, what constitutes a man, all right? What makes a male a man, all right? And I'm not talking about your reproductive organ, all right? I'm not talking about that as far as manhood is concerned, although that is a portion of the criteria. That's not the only thing that constitutes a male being a man, all right? So there's context to manhood. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you what Merriam-Webster has denoted what manhood is. All right, I'm gonna give you the definition of manhood according to Merriam-Webster. Hold tight. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's better. All right. So Merriam-Webster, we like to use Merriam-Webster. I mean, that's one of the tools that you have to use. This is a school. This is a bastardized tongue that we speak as far as the kings. So it's very, very important for you to familiarize yourself with a dictionary. Grab you a thesaurus so you can understand the etymology of the words that we use in our everyday speech. All right. It's very, very important. All right. Merriam-Webster describes manhood as a noun, and it says it's the condition of being a human being. Now, I'm not talking about mankind. The condition of being a human being. The Bible says something different. All right. And what we're going to do until I get a reader in the room. Shout out to Officer Darash, Trooper Warriala, Officer Hawan, Officer Nadiyab, all the brothers that decided to stand for the Hebrew Academy. I understand, you know what I'm saying? The Bible talks about enduring hardness like a good soldier. You brothers decided to do something that not many men get the opportunity to do, let alone get the opportunity to participate in, So shout out to y'all brothers. I know we've been doing some traveling. We went up to New York, and the Lord was merciful enough to allow us to make it there safely and back. And I hope you brothers learned a valuable lesson or lessons. First day of Hebrew Academy all across the nation. It wasn't just the brothers that went to New York. Brothers remained here in North Carolina or wherever their zones were and went through absolute hell on day one. All right. But I digress. All right. We'll be doing Hebrew Academy for a while. And you brothers, rest up. Ice down your aches and your pains. You remember this, you don't have to do it. Nobody's twisting your arm telling you to do Hebrew Academy. All right. But since we talk about manhood, the Bible describes manhood. All right. And it talks about manhood contextually. Hey, Shalom Shkata. What's going on, Adawan? How we doing? You want the class? Okay. So we're going to go to the book of Exodus. All right. The book of Exodus. Those of you that are familiar with the Bible know that is in the Old Testament. The book of Exodus, the 15th chapter. And we're going to start at verse 3. And the Bible says that the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. So when we see Lord, that translates to the Most High. And the Most High's name is Yahweh, better known as the Tetragrammaton, the YHWH, according to what the Bible says, is the phonetic sounding of the Lord's name with respect to the Hebrew, all right? Yahweh, not Yeshua, not Yeshiva, not Yehoda, or whatever the hell, Yehuda. It's Yahweh, all right? And the Bible says that Yahweh is a man. Not just any man, not a man of peace, not a man of kindness, not a love of tender mercies, but this is a man of war, is what the Bible says, all right? It says Yahweh is his name. So right here, we get an understanding of the context of what a man is, or this type of man, with regard to the Most High, all right? And know that the Most High power is not a human being, all right? The Bible teaches us that God is a spirit, but in spirit, he created humanity, all right? We do not live in a gender fluid society. God created male and he created female. Drop that. Give me Genesis 1:27, all right? And we got a lot of precepts we're going to try to cover down on today. So if you're in class, make sure you write these down. The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 27. Let's start at verse 26. And God said, God translates to power. Since it's a capital G, it means the Most High, whose name is Yahweh. The Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now you're understanding some of the characteristics of this man that the Lord created. He said, let us make man in our image. After what? The image of what? Heavenly hosts. After our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, et cetera, et cetera. Dominion is authority or rulership, all right? You think about the men in your life, if you have a man in your life, whether you be a woman or a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew. Most of us, have positive examples of men. Unfortunately for Israel, and we'll get into scriptures that talk about what happened to our men because of America, because of oppression, because of the brutalization of this place, because of mass incarceration, because of crack cocaine and heroin and fentanyl and weed, because of, you name it, police brutality. Think about all the mass unalivings that the Native Indians endured, the so-called Black people endured here in America. Whenever we tried to establish ourselves in our own little treasure cities, we would call them Black Wall Streets. You should look up the history of race riots here in America. Look up the history of the race riots. You can look up it's a real simple thing to do, all right? You can Google all the mass unalivings of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, all right? Globally, not just here in the land of the North, all over the world, all right? That's what happened to our men. If you don't have a strong positive example of a man in your life, all right? So this man was created to be an authority figure. This man was created to be in rulership over the earth. Drop down to 27. So the Most High created man in his own image. This image is what the Lord created, all right? He didn't take indecent liberty when he created man. He didn't make man to be what you see today, all effeminate and androgynous, and just so in tune with his feelings, so in tune with, what he thinks. That's not the way the Lord created man. The Most High created man in his own image, in the image of God, created he him. So if you're a man, if you're a male, you were created in the image of the Most High power, all right? And we read in Exodus 15:3 that the Most High power is a man of war. This is a clean cut against the Christian church and what they teach with respect to pacifism, with respect to peace, and God being all love. That's not what the brothers learned yesterday in Hebrew Academy. You learned the true nature of God yesterday. You're dealing with these mighty men, Commander General YAHANNA, all the generals, the captains that were able to come down or to go up to New York, sacrificing their dime and their time to show you what real manhood is all about. It's a beautiful thing, man. All right? We're going to drop that. We're going to get into more of this definition. Qualities associated with men, according to Merriam-Webster. What are some of the qualities, if you're online in the class, shout out to Sister Arabah, usual suspects, Trooper Kodar, Sister Naima, Sister Yapa, let me see, Trooper Warrior Allah, Officer Kodam is in here, all right? When you think about some of the qualities, the quality is associated with men or manliness. What comes to mind? What comes to mind? Are men effeminate? Meaning, are they emotional? Are they in tune with, they say, like your feminine side? When I think of effeminate men, some of the best examples I could give you would be of like Prince or of Michael Jackson. Or your favorite R&B singer, Off the water. No, I appreciate it. I don't know if that bass, I got a bass. Yeah, I got a bass. Most High in Christ came through to the rescue. Yeah, what we doing? Okay, Most High in Christ, they're responding in the chat. All right, shout out to Sister Arabah, Sister Brittany logged in. Sister Yapa says, quality of a man is that he is strong. And I'd have to agree. What do you mean strong? Can you elaborate on the type of strength that you're speaking about? Because some men are physically strong, like they're able to lift. Oh, Salakia. This one right here. Okay, Most High in Christ. So when you talk about strength, when you talk about physical strength, you talk about financial strength, he can stand on his wallet. You're talking about spiritual strength, somebody that is mentally strong, you know. Sister Arabah says, a leader. Damn right. I'd have to agree. You talking about like a gang leader? The leader of a cartel? What kind of leader? Type of leader you talking about? Okay, Sister Yapa elaborates. She says mental and physical strength. Okay, Most High in Christ. So you want a man or quality of manhood would be a man that is of a sound mind. What does the Bible talk about? Or what does the Bible speak about a sound mind? What does the Bible say about a sound mind? And then Trooper Kadar says the Most High gave men the ability to think. Yes, we were given the ability to reason. See, we weren't created like the angels, you know. We were made in the image of God, all right? Angels follow orders. They're not rationalizing like you and I. When we get presented with an objective, when we get given an order, we volley whether or not we're going to do the order, first of all. Does it make sense to me? Is this a righteous order? See, we're making judgments continually. We're rationalizing, all right, with this order that we've received, all right? And here, especially if you're in the military structure of the school, if you're given an order, you follow that order. God forbid you receive an unrighteous order in here. But this is the school that strives for perfection, all right? So we teach to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So you shouldn't receive an unrighteous or wicked order in here, all right? We keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments, not just the Big Ten. So over 613 laws in the Bible, statutes and commandments. So the Most High gave men the ability to think, the ability to reason, the ability to pass judgment. In the Christian church, we think that passing judgment is a bad thing. We believe in what Tupac says, only God can judge me. But you make judgments or determinations every day in your everyday life. The judgment with respect to the context of judgment, not talking about punishment, we're talking about a decision. You can judge whether or not you're going to get in your car and drive in this tropical storm and come down to the school. Is your car running hot? Would you do that? Is that a wise judgment to do? It's not a wise judgment at all. Would you just run out into the street, or would you look both ways before crossing the street? You're going to rationalize, right? It says, Sister Arabah says, leader of his family and his people. Okay. A leader of his family and his people. I like that answer, Sister Arabah. But in the world, you know, I grew up around in a melting pot here in Fayetteville, primarily on Fort Bragg initially. And every family wasn't the same. My family wasn't like many of the other families that were on the block. Now, my father was in the military. He served Uncle Sam. He served in Esau's military, which is not a righteous thing to do. That's a decision that's made out of desperation. You don't have many options. But in his mind, he rationalized, am I going to sell drugs in Detroit and get unalived like my brothers, or am I going to do something else? The pastor's telling you, yeah, go into the Air Force, go into the Army, go into the Marine Corps. Your pastor is telling you to do these things, all right? So my father did that. But we lived next door to people that, you know, didn't believe in serving the God of the Bible. I mean, we actually didn't serve the God of the Bible. Contextually, we celebrated Christmas. We didn't eat any pork, shrimp, crab, or lobster, but we celebrated our birthdays. My mother and father didn't tell me, oh, you better not deal with a white girl or a Chinese girl. Wasn't taught those things. So there's a certain standard. There's a real clear-cut standard for which we are to live. There's a paradigm that we have. And it's this Bible, all right? Now, Merriam-Webster will say what it says about the different qualities associated with man and manliness. And y'all gave me some really, really good examples. Shout out to Officer Darash is in here. Officer Quadam says, strength is serving the Lord and not cowarding when something gets tough, but relying on your brothers and sisters. Give him a hand. He's absolutely right. We talk about no cowards, all right? That's one of the primary themes or mottos to this school, no cowards, or you can't be a coward. I was looking at the definition of coward, and it was really interesting. Coward is someone that doesn't want to do that difficult thing. What happened? I'm going to close that out, so lock in. All right, Most High Christ. Good night. 1,001 things going on. All right. Where we at? We said Genesis, but getting back to what Sister Arba was talking about, the leader of his family and his people. You know, I grew up with individuals whose fathers were in prison. And they taught their sons how to trap. They taught their sons how to, you know, sell dope. They taught their sons how to pimp women. You know, we're not talking about that kind of a leader. All right. Grew up with people who taught their kids to go to church every Sunday. You know, you're a good tithe-paying Christian. That's not the type of leader, you know, that we're talking about, that we're speaking of. Right. We're speaking of the type of leader that Officer Quadam is talking about. I understand what you're saying, Sister Araba. You're absolutely spot on. But in here, I want you to dig deep, because there's a lot of people that will read that, and you know, you're an introspective thinker, so I know you understand this. But for the people that are base-minded, you know, we got to lay it down flat for them. All right. So yeah, it's about serving the Most High Power primarily, since we were made in His image. Since the Lord is a man of war, that would be a quality of manhood. All right. Let's see. All right, where we at? Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 2. The book of 1 Kings chapter 2. You know what? No. Before we do that. All right, I was at the slave today, and in between me talking to Officer Zion, trying to come up with the direction by which we wanted to go with this class. All right. I just Googled. It's real simple. You could do this at home. All right. Some of the qualities of manhood. And the title of this class is Biblical Tenets of Manhood. All right. You all mentioned some things in the chat. We talked about strength. According to AI, when you search tenets of manhood, Here's a list of the bullet points that'll pop up, generated by the algorithm, all right? First thing that popped up when you think about the qualities of manhood is strength, you know? Well, let me go back up. And Sister Yapa, Shayara says that, you know, a man should be mentally and physically strong, all right? And that's exactly what the definition that AI gave, or the example that AI gave. Christ, shout out to Officer Quatazar. The next thing, the next bullet point they give is that the quality of manhood is respect. What does that term mean? What does respect mean? What does it mean for a man when we talk about manhood and respect? I'll give it to you for time's sake. Respect, according to Merriam-Webster, as a noun, and it says a relation or reference. No, we're not talking about that type of respect. Like with respect to something, right? That's not what we're talking about. An act of giving particular attention or consideration. You know, you think about how you treat your father, or how you speak to your father, or how you behave around your father. Hopefully you don't behave in a different manner outside of his presence. You know, a big reason why you have a certain air of respect for your father is because if you had a father, most of our fathers were austere men, serious-minded men. They're not for a lot of playing. I know my father, he wasn't a brute. He didn't rule over our household like a roaring lion. You know, so I don't know much about getting beat like a lot of the dysfunction that a lot of our people endure, you know, as children. But some fathers will beat the mess out of their kids. They don't have any qualms about sparing the rod of correction. It says a high or special regard or esteem. All right. So when you think of respect, you think of what? Honor, the quality or state of being esteemed. Respect is a verb. Let's see what that says. I got it. Is there? You don't have a mouse over there. To consider worthy of high regard, to refrain from interfering with. Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy when it comes down to your parents in their conversations, not just adulthood, but just your father. You think about, we're talking about manhood now. Let me see. All right. So men should, it says, it was real vague. It said men should respect women at all times. I didn't really agree with that, but when it comes down to a quality of a man is that he requires respect from the people that he interacts with on a day-to-day basis. All right. He's not a simp. He's not somebody that you can push over. All right. He's respected. And usually people that are respected are respectful. So that's a quality of a man, is to be respectful, right? We talk about having a sense of decorum, being polite. In here, you're going to learn how to walk. You're going to learn how to talk. You're going to learn how to dress. You're going to learn how to eat. You're going to learn what to say, what not to say, when to say certain things, and when not to say a thing. I seen General Mayaka Allah tap General Shalmar on the shoulder during an interview this weekend. And General Shalmar followed the order. And walked away from the interview. He understood. You know, he said, I follow orders, which I thought was really, really remarkable because you don't see that. You don't see that often. As a man, you feel like you stand on your own too. You make your own damn decisions. Project Pat said, men do what they want and boys do what they can. And I know that's a lie because there are stipulations on what you can and cannot do as a man. There has to be some sort of parameter or barriers to what you can or what you'll allow or what you won't allow. When you think about another quality or tenet of manhood, you think of a man having the ability to protect those that he loves. So you think of protection. When I look at my wife, I don't look at her as a form of protection, although she does protect, you know, the household to a certain degree. It's not in the same spirit of a man. Sister Araba and Sister Kalaipa do not protect the household the way Officer Zion protects the household. Or, you know, any other real man, the way by which he rules over his household. It's with authority in a respectful manner. It says men should protect their loved ones even to their death. See, that's the beautiful thing about being a man in here is recognizing that you're living to die for those people that you love, your wife, your children, the brothers that you stand shoulder to shoulder with at camp. And at a moment's notice, you're willing to lay your life down for them. As who did? Why do we follow that as an example? Who laid their life down for men, for his brothers? Who laid their life down for the sake of their nation? Right. So when you look at all the sacrifices that we make day in and day out, gone every Sabbath, Hebrew Academy's here, so now we're going to be going on Sunday too. Those are very selfless sacrifices. We didn't learn that from Pastor Joe Willie and Deacon Beat 'em Down Brown. We didn't learn that at Lewis Chapel. We didn't learn that at Simon Temple. We didn't learn that at Mount Pisgah or Abney Chapel. We learned that in the I.S.U.P.K. They taught the true nature and spirit of manhood. And it begins with making selfless, not selfish, selfless decisions. And here we learn that sacrifice. Christ he paid the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of his brothers, for the sake of his nation, for the sake of his family, his kindred. And we follow in that same example. All right? So when it comes down to manhood, we beat the sisters up oftentimes, or it seems that way, because in our breakdown, we have a women breakdown. We'll add this to the breakdown when it comes down to the brothers, or just manhood in general. In the world, when you think of provision, it's always financial when it comes down to what a man should provide for his family. It's always from the financial perspective or the financial component. In here, you learn that the methods of provision are beyond financial, just based off of the examples of the patriarchs and prophets that we read about contextually within the pages of the Bible. My sister said leadership. A man provides leadership to his family, right, to his community, all right? Through that leadership, he gives guidance, all right? Guidance is a form of provision. You talk about peer support. What is that? Man, let me see. Role modeling, right? A righteous man is a role model to his family, to his community. He's not a goddamn burden on everyone around him. That's not a tenet of manhood. It's to be a burden, like a baby, like a child. Go ahead, Officer Zion. Salakia.
Salakia. I seen the notes, but the one thing I did not see was stability.
Most High in Christ,
like
stability.
A righteous man has to provide a level of stability. He's not like a reed that's shaking in the wind. You understand? He's not jumping at the latest and the greatest. You understand? He understands the importance of having a sound mind and moving in such a way that makes sure everybody else stays at even keel.
Right.
If there's like different erratic things that is happening, and he's just as erratic, jumping all over the place, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. But in the midst of a troubled time, you got a brother that's stable.
Right.
He's gonna stabilize his environment and the ones that's around him, who looks to him as being the leader or for leadership. And that's what Commander General YAHANNA has done. The school of the I.S.U.P.K has always been a level of stability throughout the whole planet Earth. Because you can best believe if there's some type of disruptance that's happened in the earth, people always look and say, first thing on today, on Monday, what is the I.S.U.P.K stance? They look for us to break down any scriptures and give to them an answer to allow them to live a stable life.
Right.
And they follow the men or the people that are in their lives that they look at as being stable. A leader should also be stable as well in all his ways.
Damn right. Give him a hand. He's right about that. We talk about stability, man. Like stability is the foundation to whatever structure you're going to build. The foundation to your family. You want a man that is going to be consistent. You know, we talk about stability. We talk about being predictable, reliable, dependable. You know, those are all qualities that coincide with that stability that Officer Zion is speaking about. If you're unpredictable, you can't expect a woman to trust you or to follow you. You can't expect your children to follow your example because you're unpredictable. You're liable to do any goddamn thing at any time. All right. That stability is essential. It's necessary. Most of us come from very unstable, meager beginnings, very unstable situations. We talk about not having a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You know, you have to establish yourself as a man. All right. You can't live up to this tenet of stability if you're not doing certain things necessary. Matter of fact, go to Lamentations 3:27. The book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 27. I thought this was really, really interesting. You know, because when I was a young man, I had 2 or 3 jobs at a time, man. That's one thing that I did learn is the value of working as a man. The value of, you know, if you don't work, you don't eat. The value of earning your keep. We used to go spend summers and winter break with my aunt Bertha up in Ohio or in Marco Island, Florida. And she would always say that when it came down to us having to do chores, she wasn't leaning on the maid to do it. We had to wash the dishes. We had to vacuum the floor. We had to help out. We had to feed the dogs. We had to do these things, earning our keep. It's teaching you responsibility. All right. The book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 27.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
It is what?
It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. What yoke? What yoke do you think they're talking about right here? What is a yoke? When you think about a beast of burden, they put a yoke on him. when he's plowing the field, so that he's not plowing the field every which way. That yoke is to help guide him,
Right.
so that he can make a straight line in the field, right? You're making those zigzag lines in the crop field. That's a ox that don't have a yoke on them. You think about the yoke that should have been put on you as a young man. If you had a father, a loving, caring, serious-minded father, he's going to put a yoke upon you, like the yoke of responsibility, man. All right? Because he knows in his older age, what it takes. He knows what it takes to put food on the table. We talk about provision. He knows what it takes, in order to gain that respect, to be that pillar of stability. He knows what it takes. And any wise father is going to give that to his son. He's going to give that to his daughter. So she's not a goddamn burden on society, a burden on the household, a burden unto themselves. Talk about spoiling children. A child that is spoiled is a child that is destroyed. All right? A child that is no good, not even to themselves. Went to college and you're there with people that don't know how to bathe themselves. They don't know how to cook for themselves. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to wash their own laundry. They don't know how to think on a level of self-sufficiency, man. It's very, very important that you teach your children to be independent to a certain degree, because you ain't going to be there all the time to be able to save the day. All right? Read that again.
Lamentations chapter 3, verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
Why in his youth? Why is it good for him to bear the yoke of responsibility and obligation in his youth? If you're a young man, there's no reason for you not to be in school somewhere. Ain't no reason for you not to have a goddamn job. Especially if you in here we learned that you can have 2 or 3 wives, right? Now, I'm not leaning on that whole, a man's got to provide financially. I'm not talking about that, brother. Project Pat was like, nigga don't even have burger firm. What is burger? You can't even buy yourself a burger, is what Project Pat was talking about. You can't even feed yourself. So how can you expect to join this woman to you? You're responsible for her. You're responsible for these children. As far as protection is concerned, as far as provision is concerned, talk about safety and security, correction, support, instruction, meeting the needs of this family, man. Those are all tenets of manhood. So that yoke.
So like if I may.
Go ahead, Adawan.
When you talk about brothers being in that position, always refer back to the oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
Always refer back to every single ounce of it refers back to the oppressor.
Right.
These young men out here today that are going astray, don't know the small tenets of manhood. A lot of them was robbed from, a lot of them were robbed by the oppressor, like of having a father, you understand?
Right.
And if they didn't have a father, the system itself took their fathers in the simple understanding of what a man should be and pushed them into Christianity. You're able to find a real man in me. He don't necessarily, he won't abide in Christianity, bunker, y'all.
Right.
You'll find some men that you thought that we looked up to that wore 3-piece suits, that went to the slave every day, that say that they were men, but we found out later they were not men.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And guess what? They will have people, young boys in their youth that would give their life over to them, and then you find out they was only being only being abused by the so-called man of the family. You understand?
Right.
That all that comes from the oppressor. There's a level of being a warrior that has to take place, and that take place is like you can no longer be concerned about how your family views you, like just as a man. And when you become like that, when you start sharpening your sword every day, brother, there's a level of strength that comes along with it. Sometimes you won't get that level of strength by being at that slave every day. Like being at the slave allows you just to live another day to feed another mouth.
Right.
But there's a level of strength that a man gets that when he's no longer concerned about how his belly feels. You understand? When he's not trying to make everybody around him happy.
Right.
A level of strength that knowing like what I'm doing with my life will save your life. And that's knowing the truth. Being able to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You will not be loved by everybody who you think say that they love you.
Right.
Most of the time, you'll get it based on conditions. A man is loved based on, often loved by the provisions and the conditions he allows people to live in that surround him.
Right.
But your level of strength won't come from that. Your level of strength as a man has to come with knowing I'm obedient. I'm locked in.
Right.
And the world will have a man feel like he's nothing if he cannot provide for him.
Right.
You talk about the children being hungry. A lot of times the man be like, man, I got to do something. My baby's hungry.
Right.
How did you get to that point? You understand?
That's right.
Oftentimes we look at that results of what's happening versus the beginning of it. Babies just don't be hungry for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe that brother got fired. He done spent 20 years in some slavery that's not part of the union.
Right.
In the state, North Carolina is a free right state, ain't it, Kowal? Them bastards can walk in tomorrow and hang you your goddamn pink slip. It ain't nothing you can do. Yeah. And that's what is happening in this empire. These devils know, like, man, let me get the father out of the home. That black son is 50% more likely to end up in prison. The oppressor says, I've done my job. There are contracts that they make with private prisons that guarantee that our baby's going to be in prison.
Right.
And they sign them every 13 years, Bunk, y'all.
That's right.
Why every 13 years? They figure that's another generation of men that's going to be in prison. They figured out, man, let me keep giving them Christianity and keep telling them that Jesus is their savior.
Right.
They want that. But while we get shadow banned from telling our people the truth.
Right.
We always have to start with the oppressor and the things that he's done in the dark that we know. So that way our people can wake up and see, like, yeah, I'm living with these things, but there's something that's around me that is definitely working against me.
Right.
You understand?
No, damn right.
Most High Christ.
No, give him a hand. He's right. So we talk about the oppressor, and you think about the oppression that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. At the root of all oppression for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you know, there's a so-called devil that's responsible for that. The dysfunction that our families endure for generations upon generations upon generations is all at the hands of, you know, of these people, these other nations that hate so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We talk about oppression being a systemic thing. I get it. When I came in here, I learned the value of being a man and not making goddamn excuses. Now, with that out of the way, understanding that, recognizing, oh, this is the reason why I live in the ghetto or the projects or El Barrio. It's the reason why my mama and her mama, you know, was raised in these subpar, abject, dysfunctional conditions, right? What the hell are you going to do about it now? What are you going to do about changing that now for yourself and for future generations? What are you doing? What are you going to do about it? I'm not trying to amplify the spirit of the so-called oppressor when he tells you to pull yourself up by your own goddamn bootstraps. That's by no means, that's not my position at all. All right. We have to take on a certain level of personal responsibility for ourselves. All right. And the first way we do that is by removing our spirit from America. All right. Removing your spirit from this place, coming into the I.S.U.P.K. So you can truly learn how to live as a man. You can learn the true tenets of manhood. You can learn why, we live in the conditions that we live in, why our reality is hell and not heaven. You're not going to learn that in the Christian church. You're not going to learn that in the Muslim mosque. You're not going to learn that at any of these big-headed colleges or universities. Your fraternity or your sorority is not going to give you the keys of life, man. All right? You're only going to get that here in the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, under Command of General YAHANNA. All right? I want to go to 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1. We'll just go 1 through 4. The book of 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. Now, we talked about the Most High Power, all right? In his creation of man or mankind. We talked about this not being a gender fluid society that the Lord created. He created men and women, all right, male and female. He created them, right? We're talking about the tenets of manhood, though. What makes a man a man? What makes a man, what qualities differentiate him from being a little boy or a child or a woman? What are the things that make him a man? All right. And we're going to talk about what David said to Solomon. All right. If you can, the book of 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 1.
This book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying,
all right. David was old. He was aged. He was an aged man. All right.
Verse 2.
And he charged his son Solomon. All right. You get orders in here. That's always been a part of our tradition, to give an order, a righteous order. And when fathers, you have to give your children orders. You got to give your children objectives. You don't want them just going through life and not giving them any sense of direction. You want to point them in the right direction, okay? And this is what David is doing to his son Solomon. He's pointing him in the right direction. He's giving him sound advice, sound counsel. This is that guidance that we talked about. Keep reading.
Verse 2. I go the way of all the earth.
Right. Been all over the world. Okay, is what David said. Keep reading.
I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
No, he said be weak.
And show thyself a man.
He said be a baby.
And show thyself a man.
He says be thou strong and
show thyself a man.
Show thyself a man. How do you do that? You can't be weak, man. Most of the weakness that we endure is based off of fear. You got to get rid of that fear. You got to extinguish that fire of fear that you create in your mind.
Right.
As a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man, we deal with all types of fears. Not measuring up, the fear of not measuring up, the fear of failure, the fear of being ridiculed, the fear of being hated, despised. Who gives a damn about any of that, man? You got to get to the point where you don't give a F about any of that. All right? Be thou strong, therefore, is what David was telling his son. You cannot afford to be weak if you are a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man.
That's right.
Not making no excuses for it. Weakness is not an option. I don't sympathize or empathize with weakness, especially if you're a man. You don't have the freedom or the liberty to be a goddamn weak man. You cannot be that. All right? Contrary to popular belief. What Major Payne say? We are where we are. How do we grow? How do we build? How do we get better? How do we advance? How do we progress from this point in time? And it begins with you being strong, as David told his son Solomon. You got to be strong. It's not talking about a physical strength. This is all in your mind. When you're in that field and they say, give me 100 push-ups. In my mind, I'm like, 100 push-ups? What the hell? You start doubting yourself. He said, give me 100 push-ups. Get down and start pushing the earth, man. In your mind, I'm going to give him 100 push-ups. I'm going to give him 110 push-ups. No, I'm going to give him 200 push-ups. You putting these stipulations on your ability. You create your own glass ceiling with that fear, man. You can't do that. Cumberland County going crazy tonight. They're probably going to be on a early 2-hour delay. That's what they said? Yeah. David was telling his son to be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. There you go. My sister said it. King David said it. One of the primary tenets of being a man is to be strong, man. And this is a spiritual strength. I think, therefore I am, man. It's mind over matter. It don't matter if you can't lift 225 goddamn pounds 20 times. That don't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing. We talk about your mind, you know, that faith that you have, right? You have the ability to move mountains with your faith, with your belief. That faith has to overpower that fear, all right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been fearful for far too long. We were created in the image of God. We're the nation that he chose to represent him on the earth. We're the royalty on earth. We don't have anything to be afraid of at all. Keep reading. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Just reiterate. We're in the book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 3. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
What does that mean, the charge? What does it mean to keep the charge of the Lord thy God?
You got the
the charge. I said intransitive verb here. To keep the charge or the command or instruction or exhort with authority of the Most High Power. That's what it is. That's the definition. When you think of charge.
So keep impose attached responsibility.
Yes. To keep the charge or the responsibility of what? Of the Lord, thy power, right? What does the Lord require of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? What did the Lord require of David? The charge, good night. The price demanded for something. This is a debt, a debit to an account, expense, cost. Oh man, this is heavy. Okay, when we think of charge, think of supervision, think of management. I'm putting you in charge of this, right? I'm putting you in charge of the kitchen at Bojangles. I say drop the chicken, you drop the goddamn chicken, right? Is that what that is? Is that familiar to us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? All right. A person or thing committed into the care of another thing, an obligation or requirement, all right? And keep the charge of the Most High Power of the Lord thy God. And that charge is the what? David's running it down to his son Solomon, giving him that sound counsel that many of us lacked in our early years. You think of early childhood development, Most of us didn't get this. We didn't get this because our fathers were strung out or locked the hell up or under the earth at the hands of some oppressor, at the hands of white society, at the hands of America, because they believed in the lies of Christianity. They believed in the lies of Islam. To what?
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways.
Not in your way.
To walk in his ways.
To walk in the Most High Power's ways. And what are those? Those are the law, statutes, and commandments. Those are the orders that were given to Israel, not anyone else. I keep reading this Bible and I'm looking for when the Lord gave these law, statutes, and commandments to the other nations. And I don't see it anywhere. Now, granted, in the kingdom, you bastards are going to have to, bow the head and serve Christ. You ain't gonna be able to eat no pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster in the kingdom of heaven. There will be no mukbangs. The Yule and Dog Meat Festival will not exist in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
And that's what Donald Trump was talking about. He wasn't talking about the Haitian immigrants. He was alluding to the real immigrants that are storming our borders, that are crossing the Darien Gap. It's the Chinese, man. Salakia. You got Moab and Ammon coming across the border, man. You got your own goddamn country. Why come to America?
Right.
They used to tell us, go back to Africa. Africa's not our homeland, man. You sending me back to a place where I don't know nothing about this place. I'm not eating no damn monkey. I'm not eating the bushmeat sandwich.
Right.
I'm not sticking my head up some cow's behind so that I can have orange hair like Dennis Rodman. I'm not doing it. Send me back to Israel. No. A part of our curses is that we wouldn't see the land anymore. That's how you know this Bible is real. The Most High Christ. Okay, anyhow. To walk in his ways and what?
To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes.
Not to throw them away. Don't cast them away like we have in the Christian church. We've casted away the law, statutes, and commandments. They don't mean a goddamn thing to you. That's why it's easy for you to go to Bojangles and get a sausage biscuit. For you to go to Red Lobster and get endless shrimp scampi because you don't give a damn about God's laws, statutes, or commandments. Shalom shkata, my nigga. Good to see y'all boys. Yeah. To keep his statutes and
to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
So this is essential to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. David is giving Solomon the keys to the kingdom right now.
Right.
He's giving him that wise counsel that I lacked growing up. Yeah, that's a real father and son talk, man. Mano y mano. That's man to man. He's giving them the skinny. He's letting them know if you want to be successful, if you want the Most High Power to be on your side, to be your power to fight your battles, this is what you got to do. And I'm telling you exactly what David told Solomon. Because I'm a real man. What say you? Who's telling you to go against what this Bible says? That's not the measure of a man. That's not true manhood. For someone to teach you against what this book says, what this book conveys, what's denoted here in Scripture. This is a loving father. This is a father that loves his son. And he's concerned about his legacy. He's concerned about what happens when I, concede to Abraham's bosom. what's going to happen on the earth with this kingdom that the Lord allowed me to rule over. I'm giving it to my son. So you're damn right, he's giving them the most valuable thing he could give them, which is the truth. Read it again, Baba Kusha. Tell Officer Awaba where you are.
This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 3 in the middle.
Verse 3, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments.
Man, we was walking in New York. Oh, I hate Salakia. I won't say that. There's certain aspects of these major cities that I absolutely hate. I despise. We're walking in New York, and everybody named Mama has a raw blunt wrap, either behind their ear, in their lips, or in their fingers. And everybody's smoking weed. Everybody is smoking. I thought I saw a goddamn baby smoking a blunt this weekend on the corner. Then rat dragging a blunt into the sewer. It's ridiculous, man. And New York reeks of urine. Not only, it was either the Zaza or the dank that I was smelling or the stank from the urine that I was smelling. And the sad part about it was that it was our people. It was our people that was doing that, man. Smoking that crap. That's not walking in the way of the Lord. That's not reflective of the royalty that the Most High Power expects for us to be in. We learned that from the other nations. We learned that from watching heathens wanting to get high, man, and stimulate our mind, man. It's disgusting. Keep reading, Officer Awabad.
Khan, and his commandments.
And his commandments. A commandment is nothing more than an order, man. It's an order. It's not up for discussion. You must do this thing. It's beyond an obligation. This is your duty. It's your reasonable service to keep this charge, Solomon. It is your reasonable service to keep this charge, Israel. Keep reading.
And his judgments.
And his judgments. What do you think he meant by that? Keep his statutes, keep his commandments, keep his judgments. We know the judgment is what? Go ahead, brother. You got the mic?
Khan.
Oh, it's on. Most High Christ, Salaki.
Would it be the curses and the blessings that was given?
Okay. Yes, I see what you're saying. You know, because if you don't keep if you don't keep the charge, if you go against the judgment,
right,
you can expect punishment. If you go against the law, you can definitely expect to be punished, right? When we talk about judgments, we're talking about, you know, being able to rationalize between good and evil, right? You can either be blessed or you can be cursed. He wants you to make a very sound, conscious decision with your judgment. Keep reading.
And his testimonies.
Right. What is the testimony? What does that term testimony mean? I see people, I used to hate it when somebody said, oh, I got a testimony. I've been like, damn, sit down. It's time to eat. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to Ryan's. I'm ready to go to Golden Corral. I want a yeast roll. I don't want to hear about your damn testimony, right? What is the Lord's testimony? What is it? Who knows?
Salaki, I got the definition for testimony out of Merriam-Webster.
Damn right. Give that brother a hand. Yeah, he's authorized. Go ahead, brother.
It's a noun. It says a solemn declaration, usually made orally by a witness under oath in response to interrogation by a lawyer or authorized public official.
Now, we talk about, you know, in the kingdom of heaven, or you talk about when you get judged by the Most High Power, you know who your lawyer is going to be. It's going to be Christ, right? But you got the Most High Power being your judge. He is that authorized public official.
All
right.
So like
What is the declaration? What is it? When you think about the book of life, is your name being written in that book of life? When you think about the testimonies, we all know about Jacob's ladder. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding what? The good and the evil, right? So what the hell is being written and recorded about you on the record? That's the evidence. That's the evidence. You say you bought the bottle of beer at 12:03. We all saw Minister Society. He's getting interrogated, right? What is it? What is being recorded about you on planet Earth right now in the fourth dimension? What? What are those? What kind of news are the angels toting to the Most High about you? Keep reading, Officer Obad.
As it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
Right.
And whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
That's right, man. You know, in here, the men in the I.S.U.P.K, we prosper. We prosper in here. In our oppressor's kingdom. We're still in captivity and we're prospering in this place. Because the Lord is with us. We're not trying to join ourselves to any failed movement. We're not striving to be name some of them failed movements, man. We ain't striving to be no damn Pan-African. Following behind Marcus Garvey. I never claimed to be a Garveyite. But if you listen to Dr. Umar, he's going to tell you that he is the descendant of what? He wants you to be a Pan-Africanist. You think about Tariq Nasheed. He's telling people to be foundational Black Americans. And he's saying, what, Ocean or Ogun behind his post. It's ridiculous. Go ahead, Ottawa.
So like you think about, what's his name? Umar.
Right.
You would think all the Pan-Africanism that he teaches and pushes in the earth, you would think you would have like a panel of Africans that would be on his side that would help him finish the school.
Right.
Why did he always come to us like, if y'all would just send blase, blase, blase. I can't name my African partnerships because of I'm afraid of that. They're afraid to be associated with da 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 da. I say, well, that's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. If you push anything like that, if it's so Pan-African, all the Africans should be eager to join in to, you know, help you build a school with the idea that we all together.
Right.
So that lie.
No, right. No, you're absolutely right. I never thought about that. I never thought all this Pan-African BS that you're promoting, wearing all the damn dashikis and kufis and the reek of shea butter. And not a goddamn African wants to align himself with you. I don't see them lining up in droves to support any initiative by Dr. Umar Johnson or Tariq Nasheed. It's a waste of your damn time, Black man. Wasting your time striving to be an African. I don't see Negroes trying to put bones in their noses and plates in their lips. I mean, I remember we was at one of them blackity black events, the Phoenix Festival or something like that. And this African got she was furious. She got so mad when she saw the camp sign of the Africans, of the Hamites. She was disgusted. She said, no, this doesn't represent all of Africa. Well, to us, it does. It's disgusting and it's vile, and it's not our culture. Those are not our customs. Those are not our traditions. We are not the same people, man. All right? We want to follow in the traditions of the law that was given to us by Moses, right? Keep reading so that we can what?
So that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
Right. That's the reason why Umar Johnson School is boarded the hell up right now. Right. He's not following in the tradition. He don't give a damn about Christ or the Most High Power or the law that was given to Moses. He don't care about none of that. He cares more about Marcus Garvey. Being a Garveyite, that's what he cares more about. He cares more about democracy and you joining yourself to America. He cares more about you voting. That's what he cares about. He thinks there's power in those things. But if you do those things, you're giving the oppressor power to destroy you, to destroy your mind and your movements, man. You're allowing the Most High Power to see what side of the fence you plan on, man. He's not allowing us to straddle the fence. He don't want you to be lukewarm. You got to be all in with the Most High Power, man. Keep running it down, Awabad.
Khan. Whatsoever, Salaki.
Yeah, that thou mayest prosper.
That thou turnest thyself.
Salaki. Go back to that thou mayest.
Khan, that thou mayest prosper and all that thou doest.
So everything that you do, you're going to succeed. You're going to prosper in it, right? Keep reading.
Whatsoever.
And whithersoever, right?
Thou turnest thyself.
Wherever the hell you go. We know that the curses say you cursed in the city and cursed in the field. So it don't matter if you decide to go to New York or if you decide to take your behind a Jackson, Mississippi. You're going to be successful. You're going to prosper according to what First King says, according to what King David said to Solomon. Wherever you turn yourself, keep reading.
Khan, verse 4, that the Lord may continue his word, which he spoke concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way,
right,
to walk before me in truth.
To walk before me what?
In truth.
No, in Kundalini.
In truth.
In Carter G. Woodson.
In truth.
No, in Booker T. Washington.
In truth.
In Dr. Boyce Watkins.
In truth.
No, in Powernomics.
In truth.
In truth is what the Bible says. In the I.S.U.P.K, this is the home of the truth, man. We're getting down to the brass tacks of what is expected of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Thus saith the Lord. You're not getting that anywhere else. They're not teaching that at Fayetteville State. They're not teaching it at Methodist. You're damn sure ain't gonna learn it at Fayetteville Tech. They're not teaching that over at Manna. You're not gonna get it there. You got to come here, 205 West Russell Street, man. Keep reading.
Khan, with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fall thee.
There shall not what?
Fall thee.
There shall not
fail thee.
That's right.
Said he, a man on the throne of Israel.
Now, this is the king of it. A man on the throne of Israel is telling you this. This is, this ain't some entertainer, some freaking athlete who's sleeping with a white girl telling you this. This is one of our ancient forefathers, man. Giving wise instruction and counsel, sound counsel to his son for the sake of our nation, which can be applied today. All right. Drop that. Let's go to Ephesians 4:14. Let's go to Ephesians 4:14. The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 14. And when you get there, let me know.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 14.
Right.
That we henceforth be no more children.
That we what?
Henceforth be no more children.
Moving forward, right? From this point on, if you're a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian male, and you're under the sound of my voice, you're in this class tonight, and you're wondering what it means to be a man, or what are the tenets of manhood. Read it again.
Khan, that we henceforth be no more children.
We be no more children. What are the qualities of a child? Child is dependent upon who? Their mother and their father. Right. A child follows orders. Their whole purpose is to honor and obey their parents, right? Right? But we know that the mind of a child is what? All over the goddamn place. We're not to be as juveniles childlike in our understanding, childlike in the ways by which we move in the earth, playing games, just caught up in all manner of just silliness, man. Henceforth be no more children. Keep reading.
Tossed to and fro.
This is what Officer Zion was talking about earlier. Being tossed to and fro, getting pulled back and forth. You don't know whether to go to the left or to go right. You don't know whether to be a Democrat or a Republican. You don't know whether to be liberal or conservative. You don't know whether to vote for Kabla Harris or Donnie. Keep reading.
And carried about with every wind of doctrine.
Carried about of every wind of doctrine. What are some of those doctrines that carry our people off into la la land? Because I saw them, they were selling cannabis out of a damn shuttle bus, man. Had the windows tinted out. We walk out the bodega and I see people lined up, getting runt packs, man, out of a damn shuttle bus. Right there on the street. It's an open air drug market in our oppressors' treasure cities. We get tossed to and fro with that doctrine of believing that it's okay for you to smoke weed, man, to be a damn filthy drug addict. What are some of the other doctrines that we get caught up in? Capitalism, believing that our money is going to save us. We're going to be burning money in the streets, man, for warmth. That day is coming.
It's like it too, Monk, y'all. And with all those things you just said, those things have become a prison to us, man.
Facts.
Every doctrine of man that you go into, that we've gone into, has, if you look at it 5-10 years down the line, you've seen it meant us no good. But now, like you said, the use of marijuana as cannabis is an open thing. But how many of us have lost family members because of a pound of weed? And I'm not saying that it's right. I ain't saying it's right at all. It's just another gimmick of the oppressor. Christianity was something that we went into thinking we was going to get something out of it.
Right.
How many of us lost family members to Christianity? Buddhism. Do me a favor. Read verse 1, our bud. 4 and 1.
Is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord.
You got to become a what?
Prisoner of the Lord.
This is what we should be becoming a prisoner of, man.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be locked into these 4 walls. And that's being righteous, man. Being follow a commandment keeper, if I may.
Right.
We got to be locked into this thing like a prisoner. Like you don't see no way out. See, we go into these other things in the earth, these commandments of men, because you looking for a way out. Well, there ain't no way out. This is the way. There ain't no other way. You have to be locked into this. Read on, our bud.
I therefore,
I beg of you, go ahead.
The prisoner of the Lord, beseech you.
I beg of you, go ahead.
That ye walk worthy of the vocation within.
Well, what does vocation mean? The stability, man. We went into that earlier, right? Of being a man, being a leader. The vocation of who? And what?
Your occupation. That's right. It's your
go
job.
ahead, bud.
Wherewith ye are called.
Well, who was called? Only the Jews was called, man. The Israelites, man. That's it. No other nation. Now, if we walking outside of this vocation, the thing we're supposed to be stable in, then we're just like that, just like drop down to verse 14.
Right.
We're tossed to and fro if we're not solid into the vocation in which we was called for.
That's
and
right.
what was that? To be obedient children and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Most High Christ, Salaki.
No, damn right. Damn right. Damn right. Lacking that stability you just talked about earlier, you know? This is the stability of our times right here, you know? Keeping these law, statutes, and commandments, man. All right. Is that it on that verse, Officer Abad?
No, that's a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Let me start from the top. It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine.
Right.
By the sleight of men and cunning craftiness.
Right. So you think about the sleight of hand when you see a magic show, you know, that's what that is. You know, the sleight of hand. You see somebody doing the 3-card monte or whatever. You know, they're slick. They're beguiling you with their cunning craftiness. That's what you're falling victim to. You're falling prey to when you fall into these other doctrines, when you fall into these other belief systems, believing that, you know, you pursuing your happiness as the Constitution denotes is what's going to actually free you in this place. All right? Keep reading.
Whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
You get deceived when you believe those things. Kamala Harris or Kablabla Harris and Donald Trump are deceiving you to believe whatever the hell it is they're promising you on their platforms. We look at those debates and we laugh. But you're laughing at bold-faced lies that people actually believe. Keep reading.
Gone, verse 15. But speaking the truth in love.
We speaking the truth in love in this place, man. I tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. As delicious as you might think it is. To keep you from having to go see Doc Schwartz and get your damn pinky toe cut off. Or your leg chopped off like Big Mama, because you're thinking this soul food. This is food good for your soul. And this is the food that's killing you. This is what's giving you hypertension. This is the food that's giving you heart disease. This is the reason why we have diabetes. It's because we're eating these things. We're speaking the truth in love. I'm going to tell you to put down the damn blunt. My brother's a dental hygienist. And we're counting. I'm looking. I see for every person I see smoking a blunt, a Black and Mild, a cigarette. That's money in the bank for him. He said they get paid what, $70 to $100 an hour just cleaning teeth in New York. That's crazy to me. Are you smoking that blunt? You can say goodbye to your pearly whites, and hello to gingivitis. Hello to abscesses and cavities, root canals. Yeah. Say hello to all of that. That's what's waiting for you. All right?
Salaki.
Go ahead, Ottawa.
Hello to death.
Most High in Christ. Yeah. That Rich Homie Quan thing. That DMX thing. That Whitney Houston thing. That Prince thing. That Michael Jackson thing. That we ain't talking about that Easy-E thing. Anyhow. Keep reading.
May grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ.
That's right, man. We speak truth and love. We tell Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth, and it's difficult to hear. It's difficult to hear the truth when everybody's lying to you. Everybody's giving you these palliatives that sound so good. It sounds so good that you're going to be accepted, and that we're about diversity, equity, and inclusion. My Bible says that anybody speaking with smooth words, war is in their heart. That's what the Bible says. So I don't believe that lie, man. I don't believe the delusion. It's all confusion. All right? Drop that. Let's go to Isaiah 5 and 13. Book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 13. Oh, man. Time is flying.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, and verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
Our people, my people is what the Bible says, right? Those people is what the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? The descendants of Abraham, specifically Isaac and Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. He had 12 sons. He was the progenitor of the nation of Israel. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian today, you are the walking, breathing, eating descendants of that ancient people, man. Right. Those people that we read about in this Bible, they exist today, all right? If you don't know, get to know. Continue to get in these classes so that you can learn something that you're not going to learn anywhere else. This is not being taught anywhere on the earth but within the I.S.U.P.K, all right? Read it again.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
What is captivity? You ever seen a captive elephant?
Right.
When you go to the zoo, you see these animals are held in captivity. Those animals aren't free to come and go wherever the hell they want. You think of being in captivity, just think of being in bondage, man. That's you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. We are in absolute bondage on the earth, wherever we are, because of these curses, because of our disobedience, because we did not hearken diligently. Keep reading.
Khan, because they have no knowledge.
Because they have what?
No knowledge.
No knowledge of what? What don't we know? What do we not know in 2024? Go ahead, Officer Kowal.
We don't even know our true identity, and we damn sure know the color of Christ.
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears? Wherever we go, it's really interesting to see how conscious people are based off of where they live. And I know when we go up north, you know, the devils, they recognize, you know, the symbolism. They see the shields and they're like, oh, hell no. They know how hard their people have tried to withhold the truth from us about who we are. And they know it. The truth is hidden in plain sight. It's right there under your nose. It's right there in your face. You see all the greatness of our people and what we produce for this empire, where we live in this empire. Cut on the TV, turn on the radio, just walk outside, go to the mall and see how we influence society. But we're on the goddamn bottom, man. These devils know, but when we come around our people, they don't know what the hell it is. They're like, what is that on your head? Why y'all dressed like Power Rangers? Why do you have that Star of David on your neck? What does that Star of David mean? They think we GDs and folks. They don't understand, man. They don't have the knowledge. We don't know. Keep reading.
And their honorable men are famished.
What kind of men?
Honorable men.
Honorable men. Men that should be held in high esteem. We ain't talking about no damn conniving crook. We ain't talking about no slimy pastor, some greedy bastard that's been robbing your grandma for years, her whole life. We're not talking about that kind of man. We're talking about a man that should be honored. This is the man that we talked about earlier. A man that's a true leader. Right. A man that's truly selfless. And he makes sacrifices. He is the pillar of stability, not just in his household, but in the community. Where are these men? What does it say about these men?
Because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished.
The honorable men are famished. This is what the Bible says. Yeah. Honorable men are famished. It says famished is an adjective, intensely hungry. You're not being fed, man. You're being force-fed lies. The men of honor. Where are the men of honor today? They're not in the Christian church. They're not in the Muslim. They're not in Islam. They're not in the Muslim mosque. Where are the honorable men of today, man? Keep reading.
Khan, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
The multitude dried up. We hungry and we thirsty for this knowledge, man. We're not being fed in these churches. You're going to continue to thirst for this knowledge, for this understanding, for this wisdom. I see people taking our breakdowns. You know, they take a little bit of what we say on a street corner and they think that they got the whole truth. So help me God. They got like bits and pieces of it. You got to come in here and get the whole truth, man. You're going to continue to lack the knowledge. You're going to continue to be famished. You're going to continue to be needy. as long as you're subscribing to the ways of America, the ways of the Christian church, the ways of Islam, or any other false ideology, man. Keep reading.
Kawakan, verse 14. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself.
Hell hath enlarged herself. I don't give a damn how far we were walking, block after block after block. We're on Madison Avenue and 123rd Street. And I'm like, damn, where's the van? I can't wait to get into the van because I'm tired of smelling this weed. I'm tired of smelling this urine. I'm tired of seeing this abject poverty, man, and this despair on our people. Hell hath enlarged herself. Hell was bigger than life, man. That condition of hell was on our people. I mean, we got to New York at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And New York is definitely a city that don't ever sleep. People walking up, laid out, stretched out, half naked on the street. Oh, man, it was disgusting. And open her mouth, what?
And open her mouth without measure.
There is no limit to the hell that our people are in, man. It's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse because we continue to believe these lies. We continue to be fed nothing. There is no sustenance in us joining Christianity. There is no true sustenance in us continuing to believe in democracy, the democracy of America. We're famished, man. Our honorable men are famished, and we are thirsting for knowledge. We're thirsting for the truth. Keep reading.
Kalbakan, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
Yeah, you thinking about you taking pride in America, you taking pride in being able to, be free, white, and 21, man. You think you have the liberty that the Constitution guarantees, man. You do not. There's a certain way that a man is supposed to walk if he is so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. All right? This is just part one of the biblical tenets of manhood. We're going to continue. I got 30-odd precepts on this. All right? But that's my time with the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. I'm going to pass the class off to Priest and Officer Kowal to read the security announcements, man.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. With I.S.U.P.K start at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. New rule for brother and sister. When their new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you find this in Numbers 18:21. Malachi 3:8-10 means 10th in Hebrew. It's pronounced by Asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. A free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. The upcoming holy convocations, the memorial blowing of trumpets. It's the first day of the 7th month. This year is on Wednesday, October 2nd. All right. You can find us in Leviticus chapter 24. Also, too, we have the West Coast Cookout coming up. The dates are September 26th through the 29th. And the last cookout of the season is Texas. All right. It's going to be in Austin this year. All right. It's going to be November 30th to December 3rd. Start getting your affairs in order now if you need any help. Contact your camp leader. Also, today is Monday night. Be prepared for Commander YAHANNA's America on Fire.
Right.
Subscribe to his new YouTube channel. All right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure as soon as you come hit the thumbs up button. Like, share, subscribe. All right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf with that Amadio. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Manu Shabbat, Madio, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Yahweh Shem Yahshua
Yajmatah, Saul, turn face sisters. Sister Amaya. Men of Israel, we're going to render one curse to the sisters. Men of Israel, about Shabbat, Amadia, Barak, Yajmatah, class dismissed.